Great. Well, good day, everybody. It's Jeremy and JP out on Nonsuch Island after a very thundery start to the day, with rain and thunder and lightning. And we have a very special guest coming out to Nonsuch with us today. And
Just to introduce myself. Hello, everyone. It's really good to be here. My name's Andrew Murdoch. I'm the new governor of Bermuda. Been here about 2 months. And it's fantastic to be here, and I'm really looking forward to a tour of Nonsuch and all the great work you've been doing.
Well, fantastic, and it's great to meet you, sir. And
Cheers.
we'll show you a little bit of what we're doing out here and some of the amazing critters that we're working with. That we have the privilege of working with, really. So,
fantastic.
All right, let's head on up.
Great, after you.
Okay. Take a look at some of the artificial tropic bird nests on the way up.
And how long do you think this bird will have been in this nest now?
It's been in for about a week, which is why I think it's definitely incubating an egg.
Yeah.
About 6 days actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's take a look, buddy.
That beak looks sharp.
It is sharp and powerful. Ow. Okay. Here we go. Okay, sweet. There we go. Yeah, so that's a white-tailed tropic bird. You can see the long tail streamers on it. Beautiful. Still got a little bit of a flush of orange salmon-y on the tail feathers.
Yeah.
Some of them are completely, the whole body is washed with that apricot color.
Is that from their diet or just natural color?
It's from the diet, yeah, because they winter further to the south or in the Sargasso Sea, where they eat a lot of other things that give them the pigment gets that. But when they're nesting, eventually as they molt feathers, they turn more to a plain white and black thing. All right, mate, I'll just yep, there's an egg. I thought so. Yeah, so that's great. April the 2nd.
Oh wow, yeah, and it's only the single egg?
Only the single egg, yeah. Now they do have the ability, if they lose their first egg early enough, they can reset, mate again, go out to sea, develop it, and lay a second one in about 6 weeks' time. And it's generally only the older, more experienced pairs that can do that. Now with a Cahow, it's 1 egg per pair per year, and that's it. Because the egg is much larger proportionally to the size, and it's like 20 to 25% of the mass of the female. So that would be like a human having a 30-pound baby. They can only produce the one. These ones, it's much less, proportionally. All right, so let's take a look at him first. I'm gonna just get his weight quickly. I try and do this fairly quickly. You can see these ridiculous long streamers. There's always 2, and there's often another one. They will molt it through the breeding season, and then you can see one's longer than the other. So this one will be the first that's molted. And
so what weight would be a healthy weight for
a healthy weight? Anything 370 on. Now because he's been incubating it for a number of days now, he might be 350 or so. But yeah, generally, if a bird's 350 to 370 grams or more, they're healthy. And his actually 400 plus. Yeah, 402 grams. Yeah, minus the weight at the back. So that's a great weight. It's in great body condition, ready for the year. So 1 adult, incubating egg. I knew he had to be on an egg. So 402.
And he's a male because?
Well, because of his demeanor. I know these ones particularly, because I check them so often, they'll have different personalities.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mr. Nervous just always looks nervous. And there's the band. It's okay, sweetie. C1520, that's him. Yeah, that's Mr. Nervous. You can actually see right here. I think he might have just regurgitated a bit, or maybe not. C1520. It's okay, sweetie.
And what's their main food? Would they be regurgitating?
Squid and flying fish in Bermuda. They do get ocean robins and anchovies and such, but it's mainly squid and smaller flying fish. Okay, so I'm just going to actually put him in here so that he can't escape. It's okay, sweetie.
So once he's kind of like settled, it's
Yeah.
it calms them down. I
That's
presume.
right. Yeah. Being in a dark space like that, and they can breathe through the bag. It's just cotton. So yeah, we've got this pretty well down to science now. Yeah. Okay, so let's take the egg, and I try and do the whole thing in 5 minutes or less. Okay, and I look for sharp rocks, like right here, because that could destroy the egg, you know.
That was inside?
That was inside, right next to the egg. But that is, about a 5 or 6 day old tropic bird egg.
That's beautiful colour,
speckled,
isn't it?
yeah, it's like a purplish brown, like chocolate mousse almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's take a look, see how a normal weight can be anywhere from 39 to 43, 45 grams. So looks like it's in that usual.
And how long, once they're incubating the egg, how long will it take before the chick hatches?
It's about 43 days, 43 to 46 days.
Yeah.
With the Cahow, it's longer. It's about 53 to 55 days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so let's see. It's 59. Actually 60, so it's 40 grams, so it's right on target.
And in terms of success rates to hatching, is there a kind of, over the years, have you worked out the kind of failure rate?
It varies from year to year. It really does. And weather has a big role in it. If we get like a real cool, like a late cool down period, because they're a tropical species, this is the furthest north that they breed on the planet, more or less, here, because of the Gulf Stream nearby. But if you have a big cold front like we had last night come through and the temperatures drop into like the low 60s or 50s a night, that can cause, a much increased failure rate. So what I'm going to do is just record the length. See, and his just quieted right down now.
Yeah.
It's just, as long as you don't overdo it. So 53.5 millimeters. That's right. 53.5. And width. You have to be very careful with these guys because these calipers are sharp. So 39.3. Okay. Yeah, so everything looks great. Yeah, see now he's starting to get excited. Yeah, so let's put this in. Okay. And let's put him back in. And this is the male bird. And you actually got out of the bag. Yeah. Very good. How ingenious of you. Yeah, beautiful birds though.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Look at that beak.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
You say it's got like a serrated edge on it
as
well.
Yeah, the edge of it, and they are incredibly like vice grip pliers sort of strength, and then we just block it for a minute or so.
Yeah.
He'll get, calm. It gives him just a little bit of time to calm down, sees the egg, okay, I better get back on the egg. Once he's done that, he's not going to abandon it. He's already committed to that egg.
Yes.
So, yeah. Yep.
Look at this.
So, as the sign says, welcome to Nonsuch Island. It's official past this point. If you've gotten to this point, you're either on the island illegally or you're being welcomed as a proper guest and such. So,
and I suppose if you want to be on the island, there's a process to get permission. And
I mean, you really only will get permission if you're here on, to actually research something.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just join up as for a tour.
Yes.
On a tour group and such. Okay, well, I think it's time to take a look at some cahowlets anyway for us and see. I mean, if we're very lucky, we might see an adult, but the adults are mostly out at sea, on these multi-thousand-mile foraging trips, gathering food for the chicken. They'll visit every 3 or 4 days at night for a couple hours, feed the chick, preen it, and then off again,
So how far away are the parents feeding? Because I've heard it's something quite ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. We couldn't quite believe when we started fitting them with GLS and GPS tags.
Yeah.
We thought they were giving erroneous things, so we took them off, reprogrammed them, sent them out again, and we were in the off season, they were going as far as Ireland and Iceland and the south tip of Greenland.
Wow.
And we actually informed the Irish fisheries people, said, look, ones that fail in mid to late April, we are tracking them to this particular feature on the edge of the Irish continental shelf, the Porcupine Bight, where the last vestiges of the Gulf Stream upwell.
Yeah.
They said that is an area we go to because it's a known concentration point for whales and seabirds. So we said, well, these are the points. We had 3 cows concentrate in this area. And 7 months later, we got this excited communication and these photographs. They said, well, 3 biologists photographed the first record of the Cahow in European waters,
Wow.
basically, you know, and it was exactly where they said.
So the tech worked.
At that point, that's ground proofing of the highest caliber, you know. So what we find during chick feeding is they're generally going up to the edge of the Nova Scotia shelf and out to the Grand Banks.
Yeah.
But some will go as far as mid-ocean, like mid-Atlantic Ridge. So one feeding trip might take 5 days and cover 4,000 miles. And it's pretty.
4,000 miles in 5 days?
In 5 days, yeah. They're using these low-pressure systems to slingshot them.
Yeah.
They get the gale force winds ahead of the low to go out northeast, and then they feed as the center of the low passes south of them, and then they catch the gale force northerly winds on the backside of it. Back to Bermuda to slingshot them. So they're covering, we were seeing distances of anywhere from 250 to 350 miles a day. So they could go from here to North Carolina in under 2 days. This I can actually remove. Yeah, see, I've just been using this. We had a problem with a Tropic Bird getting in the baffle entrance. You see, there's the baffle that we use because they only go into nests where they can see the entrance because they can't walk on land, so they have to crash land right into the entrance. And one got through and attacked the chick, and I barely got out here early enough to save the life. Again, because of the cameras, it gave us a early warning.
Oh, so you managed to get in and sort it out?
Yeah, I got out here in about less than 30 minutes and was able to remove it. But since I put these branches, this won't stop a Cahow. They walk about quite easily and they go under that, push in. But if a Tropic Bird can't see the entrance, it's not going to land there. Yeah, he's much younger than either of the other 2 we've seen. You can see he's quite a little guy still. It's only about, about 3 weeks old, I think, something like that at this point. Yeah, so.
What number is this one?
This is R832.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks good, but he's definitely up for a feeding in the next night or two, I think. Yeah.
It looks much smaller than the others.
Yeah. That's the difference about 3 weeks makes, you know. The other 2 we've seen about 3 weeks older than this one. So I'm just going to weigh him first, and then I'll measure his wing cord, and then I'll give him to you to see what he feels like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, it's lost a little bit. He was 2 days ago, he was 167. Right now he is, let's see, 153, so 133. Yeah,
okay.
So it's lost about 30 grams, which is, about 10 grams a day. That's right on schedule. So as long as it's fed in the next 2 or 3 nights, no problems whatsoever, And it might be that finally his parents will meet up, tonight, and there'll be a family reunion. Sometimes that just happens. And you can see how much smaller the wing is in this one. It's tiny compared to the other 2. Not even 40, it's 37 millimeters. Yeah. Good. So just hold both your hands out like a cup, more or less.
Okay.
As long as they feel like they're not going to fall, they're generally very, very
Oh, that is a very cute bird.
Yeah. Super soft. I mean, they have a double layer of down, which means that the parents, once they've dried out from hatching, 4 hours after they're hatched, the parents can leave them because the down provides enough insulation for them to maintain their body weight and everything.
There you go.
Yeah. See, he's more curious. He's so used to being handled already.
He feels pretty just comfortable with this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So how old is this one now, would you say?
This one's about just over 3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks.
Yeah, but about 3 weeks actually, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
And in terms of the down and temperatures, they're buried down presumably so they don't overheat.
Yeah, yeah. As you get into summer or later into spring, as we get into like May and June, we have to be very careful. They're normally losing their down by then, and the adult feathers are coming in. But yeah, they do run the risk of overheating, particularly in the plastic burrows.
Yeah.
And what I'll usually do is just gather a palmetto leaf and put it over the top. That just helps moderate it.
Yeah. This is. Oh, there we go. Well, I have to say, for those who are maybe watching this, it's a very amazing experience. It's very light, very fluffy, quite warm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but there's no shaking or heartbeat. He feels calm.
No, he's totally calm with it. I mean, it's become a regular thing.
Yeah.
It's like an interesting little break in the day. You know, otherwise it's just sitting in a totally dark
on your own
burrow
until the parent turns up. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at that.
And so, you know, the thing I found, it's you know, it doesn't sound proper. It sounds counterintuitive. But if you handle them more regularly, it actually produces much less stress for the chick, because they know what's coming. They know they're not going to get eaten or anything, and you know, they're good with it. I mean, you know, no problem. I've had them get so relaxed, so by the time they're nearly fully grown, they'll just sit on your knee and start preening themselves unconcernedly. You know, it's crazy.
Because back in the day, they were basically, you know, in the original settlers, they were eaten.
Yeah.
And part of this because they had no fear and they were just got used to it.
They had no fear. Adults and chicks had no real fear of man, and they would just sit on the edge of a cliff and wave a torch around, or, you know, make a loud noise, and it would attract the birds, and they would weigh and see which were the heaviest and which were the lightest. They keep the heaviest and eat them, and there's talk of them like collecting thousands in a night.
Yes.
So that's why the population just like fell off the proverbial cliff. You know, once you start taking out the breeding adults, they very quickly, their population just plummets, you know. And so they went from, you know, at the time of the discovery in the 1400s by the Spanish and Portuguese, it was estimated there were something like 500,000 pairs breeding over. And they dropped off pigs in the island. They never settled it because they thought these guys were demons. And he's just left a deposit on me. It's supposed to be good luck, so.
Well done. Yes,
yeah, exactly. But you know, so by the time the English came along a century later, the pigs had basically eradicated them on the main islands. And they were early on the, because pigs will root out the underground burrows, and that's what's happening in the Galapagos and on Hawaii.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay,
that's
mate.
cool. Thank you.
All right, oh, no problem.
Well,
yeah, let's get you back
that was
in.
amazing.
Yeah.
Quite extraordinary.